Alright, so we have a member that's got this this vector right here. They're trying to set a toolpath for it. What they end up getting something along the lines of this right here. It's kind of a little bit kind of crazy, V-bit carving up everywhere. Because there's really no control of depth with just V carving in areas in Carbide Create. So we're going to go ahead and walk through with you guys to try to reaccomplish this right here. Gives us a little bit better of a rendition. Looks a little bit cleaner there. The file to begin with that he started with was kind of a little bit messed up, but we're going to go ahead and make the best of it, and so that way if you have any issues like this, you can go ahead and walk yourself through the similar situation. So what we're going to go ahead and do is discuss offsetting. Offsetting vectors is basically think about the space in between two walls. If you were drawing the house out like that, basically you would draw the outside dimensions and then you would offset for your wall thickness. So you can think of it as your wall thickness there. So we're going to go ahead and offset our biggest vectors. Right now they're grouped together, so we're going to go ahead and ungroup them. This little tool right here, ungroup. Now we'll select the background and we can go ahead and select the biggest vector there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and offset this on the inside. We're going to go ahead and offset it, say 0.02 of an inch, 0.02. So we offset that 0.02. Now we can go just a little bit more. As you can see, it's kind of real long inside of the horns here. So if we go ahead and just take that same vector that we just offset, the new one, and we go ahead and just leave it at the stock distance, offsetting distance, sorry. As you can see, it cleaned up some of the horns there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to clean this up, get rid of that. I did not notice that they were a little that jagged. Well, I guess they are. Alright. Alright, as you can see, the original file wasn't that great to begin with. That's why the lines are real bumpy. But, alright. So on to the next one. So now we've got some of these other vectors inside here. Now when you're selecting more than one, go ahead and I push Control Shift because I'm used to doing that in another program. Pretty sure you can get away with just selecting a Shift key in Carbide Create. So you hold that down the whole time while you select a bunch of different vectors. So we're going to go ahead and come in here and select the biggest ones we have left. Alright, we're going to select some of these guys. And this one and this one. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to offset these guys the original distance we did the first one, 0.02. It's also 0.02 of an inch. Okay, we offset that. Now as you can see, some of these lines from the original offset, they're pretty close together. So lines like this that wall thickness of that wood is so thin it's going to tear out anyways. So I like to go ahead and delete that. As you can see in here, stuff like this, we'll try to delete this stuff too. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to delete all this stuff so that we're not doing a thin line. We still want to gouge these out so we can get some sort of a physical actual depth carving in there. Makes it look deeper, kind of setting back into the forest. Now when you're doing carvings, this is all going to change from each situation. So like again here, the stuff that kind of is separated, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the original one and leave the stuff that's separated. That way it gives us a deeper carve in those areas. Now these ones right here, these are still pretty big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and offset those guys 0.02 to the inside once again. We're going to get rid of this and we're going to get rid of that. Those should carve up a lot nicer now. And the same thing here, we're going to go ahead and offset that in 0.1 because these lines are so close. We're just going to go ahead and clean them up so way they look a lot nicer. So those are done. Let's go ahead and delete that vector. We can delete this original perimeter vector. Now this one that's still big, go ahead and offset that to 0.02. just something nice to work with. You can set up different dimensions and stuff that you're comfortable with working with. 0.02 is usually something that is this small. We're working on a 20 by 20 setup, and this is only, you know, a small portion of the drawing, so this is relatively small drawing. So if you're working with a larger piece by itself, obviously you're going to want to offset like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, whatever is going to work best for your line thickness at that size. So we're going to go ahead and do this. These are so close, we're going to go ahead and break those guys up again. Now you can do this 0.05 if you'd like, or 0.005, which is half of the stock, and that's still going to break it up. We don't have to go too far. Alright, so that stuff's all done. Now stuff like this, if you want to clean this up, instead of monkeying around with all those, you just go ahead and delete these guys. Holding the shift key, select them all, get them all close, and then when you're done, right click and delete. I'll just make an ugly vector look a little bit better. So let's see. It's not looking too bad there. Alright. Now stuff that's gonna that's too close to your other vectors, go ahead and just select them and drag them. Something real simple you can do. Select it, drag a little bit to the inside, drag a little bit to the inside. Now these eyebrows are a little bit thick in my opinion. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to offset them to the inside, and we're going to go try the 0.1, see how that looks. I'm going to try half of that. Let's see, 0.005 inside. We'll take those original vectors and delete those. It's a little bit better. And this stuff's still a little bit close. I'm going to go ahead and select it, drag it down a little bit. Click on the background again there. Now just go over your workpiece. Anything that's too close to another vector or anything, go ahead and clean that up. Everything seems to looks pretty good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to select all of this. We're going to go ahead and select the shift key and deselect that outer ring because we do not want to set that as our toolpath. We're going to go ahead and come over here. I'm going to disable the old toolpath. Everything here is disabled. We're going to go ahead and select a new one. 302 is our bit. I'm going to go ahead and change it to something simple. Let's see. That should be conservative and a lot faster than it would be. Alright. So as you can see, it comes in all these, there's the blue line as your cut path. Everything looks a lot better than say over here on this side. Oops. Oh, I guess this side is our new side now, my bad. Kind of look like a fool right there. Alright. But a lot better than that original choppy, chunky vector that we started out with. Now if we were to go ahead and disable and come back up here and enable, this is what we started with. And this is what we ended with. And that's what we ended with. So hopefully that answers some questions for some people there, and helps a couple of you guys get a little bit understanding of the offsetting tool. Now the simulation, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to look kind of bad because it's only got so many I guess dots per inch that it can do. Even though it's on very high, it's still a 20 by 20 area, and we're trying to do all of that rendering in such a small part of that workspace. So the rendering does suffer a little bit, but when you carve it out, it should look as expected. Hope this video helps you guys. Once again, thank you for watching. If it did, click the subscribe button, and thumbs up always helps me. I have not gotten one thumbs up from anybody. I know you guys have been watching these videos, so please, thumbs up. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps me out. Thank you.